All right. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Michael Martinez. I'm the grant manager for the Fostering Family Program. Our presentation today is on online safety and social media. Just a little background on me. In another life, not all that too long ago, I was in IT myself. I am CompTIA A plus certified as well as Security Plus certified. That is a cybersecurity certification. I worked in IT for about 8 years. You know, informing people about cybersecurity, about how to stay safe online, and also mitigating cybersecurity attacks in a company setting. Right. One second. I think somebody's drawing on the screen. I don't know how that's happening. I'm gonna unshare and then share again. One second. Okay, I think we're good to go now. There isn't any writing on the screen right now, correct? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. What is social media? Um, and this is going to be an open question to you all. What do you all consider social media to use? How do you use it? How is it beneficial to you?
I think Facebook when I hear that.
Facebook, yeah. That's probably one of the most common ones after MySpace. It's getting a little bit less common now, but that is a very common social media. Um, Also, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, known as X now, TikTok. These small format videos are getting more popular right now. It seems to kind of change in cycles. It's not all that long ago that Facebook was the most commonly used social media or Instagram. Merriam-Webster defines social media as forms of electronic communication, such as websites for social networking and microblogging, through which users create online communities to share information, ideas, personal messages, and other content such as videos. How can social media be used in a positive way? Does anybody want to share how they use social media in a positive way?
Good morning or good afternoon. I think like just being able to ask for help and connecting with other people has been a very positive support.
Absolutely. Just keeping those connections, especially if you have loved ones, family members, friends who don't live near you. Absolutely. Anybody else? How's social media used in a positive way?
I believe it's a good way to share resources with other people. Um, I
To
do
share
have a
resources.
we do have a coworker who is I'm not gonna say names, but she's always sharing resources on her Facebook. So I believe that's a good idea. Sharing the word, spreading the word, so more people can access whatever stuff they need. That's a way we can
Yeah,
use it.
that's one of the best ways to share information nowadays. It's not all that long ago that the only way people got information was from the news, from the newspaper, from watching the evening news. Now, news can spread like a wildfire, and that can be both positive or in a negative way because misinformation commonly gets spread. Um, Social media also provides an avenue for positive community and connection that was already mentioned. can provide access to important information and create a space for self-expression, for folks who like to blog about what's going on in their lives throughout their day, sharing their experiences. A majority of adolescents report that social media helps them to feel more accepted. These relationships can afford opportunities to have positive interactions with more diverse peer groups than are available to them offline and can provide important social support to youth. And all this is from the Office of the Surgeon General. Does anybody want to share what are some of the negative effects on social media? Maybe experiences that you've had or that you've heard of?
A lot of bullying.
Bullying is a huge one, especially with young people.
Mm.
I want to say that it is addictive. If I can add that there.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I actually watched a documentary on Netflix and I don't remember the name of it. You could probably search it on Google. But there's a documentary on Netflix where it was exploring how social media is changing the way that the pleasure centers in our brain work. Um, Getting those notifications gives us a surge of dopamine. Getting the positive, the likes and the positive interactions with other people, um, almost kind of like gambling in a way. Inappropriate trends that kids usually get a hold of and even end up passing away because of it. One of our participants shared today. Yeah, maybe as a result of bullying, unfortunately. And then we also spoke about misinformation just a while ago. Adolescents who spend more than 3 hours per day on social media face double the risk of experiencing poor mental health outcomes, including symptoms of depression and anxiety. We spoke about cyberbullying related depression, body image, and disordered eating behaviors. Um, Social media use can attribute to poor sleep quality as well as low self-esteem, and that's when we spoke about the bullying recently. That and again, that's also from the Office of the Surgeon General. How to stay safe when navigating social media and online spaces. Some of these are for the caregivers, for the parents, and also some of these are important for the young people in our lives who are using social media. For parents, and caregivers, there are privacy settings that can be set. Some of these privacy settings, can include what kind of access to what kind of pages can young people see? And we want to make sure that the young people in our lives, the children in our lives, aren't accessing adult materials. We want to make sure that maybe they're not communicating with strangers. A lot of these can be set in the privacy settings of these social media applications. Um, when I had social media, I had it set to nobody could search up my profile. I basically I had to make that connection first in order for to be connected with somebody on social media. Social media is, unfortunately, there's a lot of great uses for it, but it's also used for not so great uses by what are called bad actors. That could be individuals out there. Um, if you're applying for a job, they may commonly look at your social media page. Even government agencies are looking at social media accounts as well and monitoring those. It's important to use a strong password. Does anybody want to share some characteristics of a strong password? Special kudos to a couple of characteristics that I'm looking for, if anybody can identify those. All right. Well, a strong password is long. Um, Typically, you wouldn't want your password to be just a word. It's now being recommended to make your password a phrase. Let's say, instead of I had a dog named Scooter. Instead of my password being Scooter 2025, maybe it could be Scooter jumps over the fence. Um, 73 exclamation mark underscore. It's long, it's up to 15 characters. You want some special characters in there, you want a number in there, and again, not just a word, but a whole phrase. And actually, even better, um, you don't want to include any personal information in your password. Let's say you're on social media and I'm talking about my dog Scooter. That could be very easy for bad actors to be able to guess my password because they have that information about me that I might include in my password. You want to put something in there that would maybe throw somebody off. Maybe a city you've never been to, you have no connection to, a name you have no connection to, you have no association with, something that is a little bit of a curveball for bad actors. Using multi-factor authentication is important. Just about every application, every online shopping website, every device has multi-factor authentication available now. Use it. That is one of the best ways to ensure that bad actors aren't able to access your accounts, your devices, because they need to authenticate to that website or that device in several different ways. So what multi-factor authentication may look like is um, sending a code to your email, to your phone that only you have access to. There's different sorts of multi-factor authentication methods that are available. See if your applications that you use, if they have it available and set those up. That's going to be the best way to protect yourselves as you're online shopping, using apps, so on and so forth. Check your location settings. There's some apps like Snapchat, Instagram, just a couple that come to my mind, where if you have it set up that way, your followers on there can see where your location is. Um, and what has happened before is bad actors will see, okay, Michael's not at home. I can go to Michael's home and I can pillage his home because I know he's not there. I know he's on vacation. I know he's at work until 5 p.m. I know his house is going to be empty. So that is an opportunity for a bad actor. Also, be careful what you download. Um, a good rule of thumb is if you don't recognize a link that you're pressing, if you don't know exactly what this link is that you're going to press, don't press it. Especially if it's something where somebody is trying to coerce you into pressing this link, into opening this link, be especially cautious of those instances. Click all links with caution in mind. Also, assume everything that you post online is public. Um, Pictures can be copied and pasted, they can be reshared. Things that you say can be screenshot and reshared. Just assume that anything that is posted is shared with the whole world, and that you are comfortable in that information being shared with anybody in the world. Watch out for common scams, and we'll go a little bit more into what common scams are here pretty soon. Protect your personal identifiable information. Again, that is your date of birth. That is where you were born. That is people's names in your lives, animals' names, your favorite football team. This is all information that is personal to you and can be used against you in a social engineering attack. What a social engineering attack is, and that's kind of where we already talked about that, where somebody is using personal information about you to maybe guess your password, to guess what your security question answers are, so on and so forth. Also, setting boundaries is important with the children who we're caring for, with the children in our lives. Um, my daughter plays Roblox online. Um, if you're not familiar with Roblox, it's a really popular game. It's on the computer, it's on the Xbox, it's on the PlayStation, it's on the phones. Every young person I know plays it, has access to it, and um, people can chat with each other in this game, and not only this game, but almost any game nowadays. There's like almost like chat rooms. I have a boundary for my daughter that she's not allowed to talk to anybody that she doesn't know. She's able to talk to her cousins, she's able to talk to her friends from school, but she is not allowed to talk to any strangers. She's not allowed to add friends with any strangers. Um, and that's because what's happening is bad actors are creating accounts and posing as children to get access to children. So it's really important, especially in my family, to set boundaries. And not only to set boundaries, I check her message history as well, just to what we call in IT trust but verify. You know, I trust my daughter, but I also want to verify that she's respecting the boundaries, that she's following the rules, and that she's not communicating with any strange individuals in this instance. I also make sure that she doesn't have access to my credit card information because oftentimes these game consoles can get connected with credit card information. Um, and so on and so forth. Monitoring is the number one best tool that you can use as a caregiver, as the children in your lives are using not only social media but online video games, devices, apps, so on and so forth. It's very important, at least to my family. I know every family's different, but monitoring is very important to us. Setting time limits is important. You know, I tell my daughter, you know, you can't play Roblox during until you finish all your schoolwork, until you've eaten dinner, until your reading log is completed, your agenda is completed, your choir practice is finished. We really instill practices that video games, that social media is the last of the priorities in our family. Um, we've even gone so far as to restrict video games for only the weekends when school's not in session. That way um, that it doesn't become an issue throughout the school week. Content restrictions are very important to set up. I already kind of briefly touched on that, but verifying that the children don't have access to adult pages, to adult content. Content restrictions can be set up on pretty much any app, any website, computers. There's different ways to do it, depending on what the resource is, but it can be done. It's important that you create the accounts for the children in your lives, like my daughter's Microsoft account. I set that up for her. I have the password for it. I set up all the content restrictions. I set up the parental controls. What happens is if we let the children create those accounts, sometimes they can set their age to be older than what they are, and that will allow them to have access to maybe adult pages or adult content, things that they shouldn't have access to. So it's very important. Set those accounts up yourself, have the password set up yourself. I don't give my daughter the password for her Microsoft account, for her Roblox account. Only I have access to that. And she's 8 right now. That might change as she gets older, as we continue to model healthy social media and online use, and as that trust is built as well. Any questions about any of these topics? How to stay safe online? Okay. One does not simply delete something from the internet. I love this one. My son's 18. Um, we didn't let my son have social media accounts until he was in high school, actually. And this is something that we really stress to him. Anything that he posts online, any pictures that he shares over text messages, um, anything that he says online, that can all stay on the internet forever until the end of time. Um, Pictures can be shared with anybody at any time. Um, and so, we had ongoing discussions with him about making sure that he's using social media in a safe way, about being very careful about what he posts online. What if my account is compromised? There's a few steps that you can take if your account's compromised. Um, and I guess before we go into what to do if my account is compromised, how do we know that our account is compromised is probably the best place to start. Um, so there can be several ways to know that your account's compromised. You might get an email or a text message saying, "Hey, we see that you logged in from a computer in India. Is this you?" That might be something that you want to respond to. Before you respond to that, you want to make sure, one, is that really coming from that website? Is that really coming from the application? Because sometimes these emails can be sent and they're not really from, let's say, Facebook. Those emails could be from bad actors. So it's important to verify. And actually, I think the best practice is not to follow the links that are in that email, in that text that you may receive. The best policy is to either open up your Facebook account yourself, go and start taking steps to mitigate your account being compromised, call technical support, call somebody in your life who is very tech savvy, who can maybe help you. And we're going to go a little bit more into it, but clicking links is almost never a good idea. So what to do if my account is compromised? The very first thing that you want to do is change your account password. Right after that, you want to sign out of all devices. Just about every website, every application has a way for you to sign out of all devices because if somebody is already logged into your account and you change the password, they're still in your account. It's not going to kick them out. So that's why it's important to sign out of all devices. So we're going to change our account password. We're going to make sure it's a strong password, a passphrase. We're going to sign out of all devices. From there, we're going to turn on the multi-factor, the two-factor authentication. We want to check for and remove any messages that were sent from your account by bad actors. A couple years ago, and I want to share an instance when my somebody who was close to me, their account was compromised. It was actually an Instagram account. And I got a message with a link from this person, and this link went to a website that promised some very racy pictures from this individual. Now, I thought it was strange because my this person who was close to me would never send me a link to a page like that. Um, and so I looked a little bit deeper into it, and I found out that basically somebody was able to get into her Instagram account, get access to her pictures, create a website, and and then send messages to all of her followers with links to this website that has the ability for people to enter their credit card information. So that could have gotten out of hand very fast. Now we were able to actually catch this within the hour and reach out to the website and get that web page taken down within the hour. And I don't think that anybody's credit card information was taken. But I wanted to share this instance that happened not even that long ago that's still being employed today about account security. From there, you want to run a virus scan on your computer, if you do use a computer. All right, we're going to go into online safety now. This is a figure from 2022. This was from comparatech.com. And what this figure is this is showing top fraud types by total dollars lost for folks ages 60 and over. So by and far, the largest fraud type that has been employed targeting folks 60 or over has been investment scams. What an investment scam might look like is it might look like somebody offering to help you with your investments. Maybe they're saying they're going to help you free of charge. Maybe even it's somebody that you know who's telling you, I have this great investment opportunity for you. Invest in this, and your money is going to be doubled within the year. They're going to tell you something that is going to get you really excited to want to respond to them, to want to participate. Oftentimes, these end up being scams, or if they're not scams, they end up being um, fraudulent in some way. They almost never end up with people making money from these types of opportunities. Um, Businesses imposters. One example of a business imposter might be somebody that's looking for a job, and they get a message from somebody on Indeed. Hey, Michael, we saw that you're looking for this job. We have this great opportunity for you. You're gonna make $3,000 a week. You can work from home. You only have to work a few hours a day. You can do all this on your phone. It's really easy money. Um, One common theme that you're going to see here is if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. Oftentimes, these opportunities, they're going to ask for you for a fee up front. They're going to say, "Hey, we're going to send you a computer. We need you to give us $1,000 for you to get this computer so you can start working." Um, if a company is asking you for money to start working for them, that's a red flag. Romance scams. You may have seen the show Catfish. I believe it's on MTV. Somebody pretending to be somebody that they're not to play on our emotions, to play on to take advantage of people who may be lonely. Um, let's say somebody started a relationship with somebody they met online. They've never seen them before in person. They they might be resistant to meeting over a video call or talking over the phone, um, and they ask for money. If you just started a relationship and somebody is asking you for money, that is a big red flag. Government imposters. I had this happen to me a few years ago. I had somebody who said that they were from the court. They said I was being sued, and if I didn't give them $200 by the end of the day, they were going to move forward with this lawsuit, and I was going to be sued for thousands of dollars. I was going to be broke. They use these fear tactics. If you ever get somebody that calls you and they say, I'm from the Social Security office. You are going to lose your Social Security benefits if you don't act now. That's what they're going to do. They're going to tell you, they're going to want you to take action right now. They're going to want you to pay them a fee up front to supposedly protect you. These people almost never have your best interests in heart. What you can do is hang up the phone immediately, call up, let's say, the court yourself, and say, hey, I got this call. I'm being told I'm being sued. I'm just trying to verify if any of this information is correct. That way you know um, that you're talking to a representative from, let's say, that government office. Tech support scams. I actually received one of these calls a few years ago. Um, I bought a Dell computer. Dell had a data breach where somebody got access to their systems. They stole all the personal information of the people who bought Dell computers for the past few years. They also got serial numbers for devices in that data breach as well. So I got a call one day supposedly somebody from Dell, they knew the serial number of my computer and they told me, hey, we need to connect to your computer. Your computer's been compromised. There's a virus on your computer. We need to fix it right now. It's very important that you let us get access to your computer, that you share your screen. That way we can protect your computer. Now, I almost would have believed that this call was coming from Dell because they knew the serial number on my device. Um, but you know, it being somebody from India kind of tipped it off for me. Now, this isn't always to say that folks who are from India or from another country who have an accent are bad actors, but commonly many bad actors are from out of the country. So I immediately hung up my phone and I actually did a Google search and I found out Dell had been hacked. All the personal information, even purchase history, was taken a few years ago. Prizes, sweepstakes, and lotteries comes up next. 134 million was lost from 2021 to 2022. If somebody says that you're winning a prize, they call you, "Hey, Michael, you won. You won the Powerball. You won the I forget that one. They come to your door with a big check. Um, you won this sweepstakes." Um, I know I didn't apply for any sweepstakes. I don't play the Powerball. Um, and also, again, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Again, always verify information that somebody is telling you, especially if you weren't expecting it. Online shopping scams, fake check scams, family and friend imposters. This is a really scary one that I heard is happening recently, where people are getting calls. They're saying, "Hey, we kidnapped your son. Give us this amount of money, and we will release your son. This is a ransom. Um, you have to give me this money right now, or something very awful is going to happen to your son." Um, this is happening um, all the time right now, from what I'm understanding. Um, if you get one of these calls, the best course of action, keep the person on the phone, but text your loved one or try and call your loved one from another device to see if they're safe, because oftentimes they are safe. Timeshares. Coming up last at 16 million lost from 2021 to 2022. Does anybody have any questions about some of these common scams and fraud? No? All right, so I'm explaining it well. Common scams, we already went over, I think, all of these. Identity theft. Wikipedia defines identity theft as identity piracy or identity infringement occurs when somebody uses another person's personal identifiable information, like their name, identifying number, or credit card number, without their permission to commit fraud or other crimes. Oftentimes, this looks like somebody using somebody's social security number to apply for a loan or a credit card, but it can be employed different ways. There's a few ways that you can protect yourself from identity theft. First, and by far the first one, is to protect personally identifiable information. That can be your social security number, that could be your birth certificate, your state identification number. Um, Also, it's important to check your credit report annually. You can pull your full credit report once free annually from www.annualcreditreport.com. This isn't going to give you your score or anything, but it's going to give you a list of all the applications that you've made for credit. And it's also going to show you what open accounts that you have. And I believe it goes back 7 years. I could be wrong there, but it goes back quite a long ways, and gives you all that information. So it's always important. Check your credit report annually. Next up, Freeze your credit with the major credit agencies when you don't need it. Um, Oftentimes, we don't need to use our credit. Very rarely do we need to use our credit, honestly. We need to use our credit if we want to buy a car. We need to use our credit if we want to buy a house, open a credit card. But for most people, that's pretty rare. So I actually keep my credit frozen almost all the time. I just bought a house recently, so I had to keep my credit unfrozen during that time period. But as soon as we closed on my house, I went and I froze my credit immediately. If you freeze your credit, then that means nobody, even you, can apply for a loan or a credit card while it's frozen. It's also important to use strong passwords and multi-factor authentication. It's important to shield your computer and smart devices. By shield, I mean keep a lock on your computer, keep a password on your computer, keep a lock on your phone, and be wary of lending out your phone to somebody. What I've heard happening before is somebody maybe at a at somewhere at a grocery store, somewhere out in public, somebody would say, "Hey, I need to make this phone call. I don't have my phone on me. My phone's dead. Can I use your phone real quick?" And what people are doing is they might be acting like they're making a phone call, but they also could be logging into your banking application because you have that open on your phone. They might be logging into your social media. They could be accessing any number of personally identifiable information on your phone um, because they have access to it in that moment. Now, of course, we want to be kind to other individuals who may be needing help. That might look like, okay, you hold the phone, you make the call, and you keep it on speakerphone for them. That way, you have the phone in your possession, and you know the phone is safe in your possession. And always click with caution. Malicious software. These are commonly referred to as viruses, but there's many different types of viruses. There's malware. This is an intrusive software developed by cyber criminals, often called hackers or bad actors. And these malware is designed to steal data and damage or destroy computers and computer systems. When we think of virus, this is most commonly malware. There's also ransomware. A ransomware is intrusive software developed by cyber criminals. And what ransomware does, this is typically employed not against individuals, sometimes it is, but ransomware is typically employed against businesses, large businesses. And what this does is this encrypts or locks all files on a computer system. What they will do is they'll lock all these files. Oftentimes these computers are then they can't continue business if they don't have access to their computer files. And these bad actors are gonna demand a ransom to unlock all those files. Um, Sometimes many of these companies will pay this ransom to get access to their files as soon as possible. Um, that's why it's important to always have a backup of your files that's saved elsewhere. And then spyware. And what spyware does is that typically it runs in the background of your device or your computer, and it's just collecting information. It's collecting your personal information. It's collecting screenshots of your bank account. It's collecting information about your keystrokes to try and grab your passwords. And it'll send this information to advertisers, data collection firms, the dark web, if you've heard of it. The dark web is a part of the internet where bad actors will usually hang out and share information, um, or malicious actors for profit. There's been Many cyber attacks. I wanted to talk about a few of the notable ones that happened in the past couple years. You may have heard of some of these, but I wanted to give you an idea of how these cyber attacks against companies, how they can affect you as individuals. You may have heard of the Change Healthcare ransomware attack. This was in February of 2024. This disrupted critical healthcare services nationwide. Um, about 74% of hospitals that were surveyed reported that they were impacted by this ransomware attack. It impacted direct patient care. Operations had to be canceled or delayed. Many hospitals had to go to pen and paper for even a couple weeks. Pen and paper um, to share information about patient care. 60% of hospitals that were surveyed reported that it took 2 weeks to 3 months to resume normal operations. And this affected the whole country. Um, AT&T had data breach attacks in 2019 and 2024 that leaked personal information and phone records for 109 plus million US customers. Some of the information that was leaked was password information, social security numbers, dates of birth, addresses, billing numbers, phone records. Now, this is a data breach that happens to a company, but it's affecting all of its customers. What's happening is a lot of people's identities were being stolen because this information was leaked. This is why it's important to have your credit frozen when you're not using it, to have strong passwords. Also, not to use the same password for every application. You want to have a different password for each application that you use. I know it's kind of difficult to remember so many passwords because we have dozens and dozens of websites and applications and services that we use. I actually use there's called what's called password vaults on many phones, on websites. I use the passwords application on my Apple device. It has very strong security, and I keep my passwords in there, and I'm confident that my passwords are safe in that application. I already talked about the Dell data breach in 2024 and 2025 that leaked personal information and purchase history for 49 million customers. MGM Grand and Caesars Palace were both hit with a ransomware attack in September of 2023. It halted operations for two of the largest entertainment resorts in the world. Personal data for customers was leaked. Files were locked. It took over a month to resume normal operations, and actually, Caesar's Palace paid the ransomware of about $15 million to get access to their files again. Social engineering was utilized in one of these attacks. And what exactly happened here was somebody who claimed to be an executive in the company called the IT help desk, and they said, "Hey, I'm Michael Martinez. I'm the vice president of Caesar's Palace. I need my password reset right now. I have a very important meeting to be in. Please reset my password." And the IT help desk, they didn't verify that this individual is who they say that they were. They reset their password, and it was just that easy for bad actors to get into the system and get access to all of these files to lock them. How can I tell if my computer has a virus? Oftentimes, maybe the computer performance is harshly degraded. Maybe the computer starts shut downing or restarting. You might get frequent error messages and might even include a number to call. Hey, your computer has a virus. Call this 1-800 number to get help. You might start getting unexpected pop-up windows in your browser or on your computer. You may start seeing weird applications getting installed, toolbars in your web browsers, extensions in your web browsers that you don't remember installing. Some of those applications might be spying on your computer. Also, there may be emails that are sent from your email account that you don't remember sending, that you didn't send. That is another telltale of a computer being compromised with the virus. So what do I do if I suspect my computer has a virus? You can run a full system virus scan. That's pretty easy for lay people to do, to run a virus scan. Many computers have a built-in, like Microsoft has a Defender application. I think Apple has an application as well. Um, it can be pretty easy to take care of these kinds of issues just by running a virus scan, and the computer nowadays does a pretty good job of identifying those and cleaning those up. You can also restore the operating system to an earlier backup of the system, um, or sometimes it takes completely reinstalling the operating system on the device. These are a little bit more technical methods. At that point, if that is needed and you're not comfortable doing that, I would take the system to a certified computer repair technician. How do you browse the internet and social media safely? Some of this is going to be review. Don't use the same password for everything. Use multi-factor authentication. Back up your important data if you have pictures that are very important to you. If you have documents that are very important, have a copy of it saved elsewhere off of that device. Typically, what I do is I have flash drives that I'll save copies of photos on, copies of documents on. Don't click on any risky links. Be very careful what you download. It's important to update not only your operating system when it's prompting you, but your web browser as well when it's prompting you. If you're online shopping on secure websites, make sure that you're at the website that you're expecting and look for this little lock. If you see this little lock in the field where the website goes, you can be ensured that this is the actual website um, that you're shopping on. There are bad actors that are what it's called spoofing a website. And what spoofing a website means is that they made a copy of the website that looks like the website, behaves like the website. They might take your credit card information just like you expected, but it's not actually the website. So what they're doing is they're taking credit card information. Look for that little lock as you're doing your online shopping. Avoid using public Wi-Fi. Um, so let's say I'm at Starbucks, I need to connect to the internet. Um, Starbucks and many other companies nowadays have a public Wi-Fi that you can get access to. This can be very convenient to use if you need to get quick access to the internet, if you have bad cell phone reception. However, somebody who is also on that website and running a tool, they can grab all of the information that you're transmitting over that Wi-Fi. They can grab your passwords. They can grab the things that you may be saying. They can grab your text messages. They can grab your banking information. Um, if you're doing anything that's really sensitive, I would really advise against using public Wi-Fi. Let's say that you just need to I don't know, watch YouTube. That would probably be um, an okay instance to use public Wi-Fi. But anything that you're sharing private information, public inform or the personally identifiable information, I would really avoid using public Wi-Fi. Use a trusted antivirus software. Um, Honestly, nowadays, the built-in antivirus in Windows and Apple, honestly, they're very good nowadays. I would really recommend against buying a subscription to Norton antivirus, to McAfee antivirus. Um, these not only are they really not necessary, but these antivirus softwares really slow down your computer as well in the way that they act. They almost behave in a way that a virus would act on your computer, in the first place. Limit personal information that you share online, and again, be careful who you meet online. There's a free resource. This is a nonprofit called Cyber Seniors. Cyber Seniors provides free technology support and training for older adults. They have a website. It's www.cyberseniors.org. They also have a phone number, 1-844-217-3057. They can schedule a one-on-one tech call with you to assist you with technical assistance. They have daily webinars and trainings that are free to participate in. They have a whole recorded webinar library that you can go and you can learn you can learn more information about the topics that we talked about today, about new trends in cybersecurity. They also have virtual exercise classes and guided meditations as well. So Cyber Seniors is really a great resource that I'd recommend using if you're interested. All right, and we're coming up at the end of our training. Does anybody have any questions? I know we went over a lot today, and I'd love to clarify any questions that you may have.
Would it be wise to get an internet for your child so it's not connected with your internet? Is that something that should be dangerous? If they're using the internet for games or whatever, can someone tap into it and get your personal information?
Um, that's a great question. I don't think it's necessary to get a separate internet
Okay.
plan.
Okay.
Typically you can only have one internet plan at your house anyway,
Oh, okay.
unless it's like one of those T-Mobile hotspots or something.
Hmm.
Um, but typically if it's something they're doing over like a PlayStation or an Xbox,
Yeah.
hackers can't really get in that way. I
Okay.
mean, they can still collect personally identifiable information if that's shared with them, but they can't access systems over a video game console. That's not really possible. Now,
Hmm.
like if they're on a computer or something, then yes, that is possible, depending on if they're clicking weird links, if they're going to weird websites, if they're running applications that are then giving that computer access to the network. At that point, that can be a concern. Um, but that is if the child in your care has like an actual computer, a Windows computer,
Mhm.
or something like that. Those are really important to monitor what children are using those for, because of how dangerous a computer device can be. Um, Phones are also very well protected nowadays. There's really strong security on phones, so bad actors can't really get in your phone to your network either. Great question.
Thanks.
Any, any other questions? I'm going to assume you're all experts then, and we can get you cybersecurity certified. All right. So, just wanted to share with you some of the other events that we have going on. We have our virtual peer support group that continues on the first Thursday of each month at 12 p.m. Our next group is going to be on December 4th at 12. We have our Southern Region in-person peer support group that's going to be in Las Cruces actually tomorrow from 12 to 1 p.m. That's going to be at the Southwest Family Guidance Center Telshore office. So if you're interested in participating, come join us tomorrow.